Abiola? Okay.
Hello everyone. I hope you're all doing okay. Um, I'm also okay. Apologies, we are supposed to have this session on Saturday, but then because of some unavoidable circumstances, we had to postpone it to today. Another thing, today I'm actually not at my place, so you'll forgive me if you hear a lot of noise from the background. Um, in terms of the sessions and basically data analytics in general, I think so far it has been good. What I've come to realize is that the more you practice these things, the more uh, you become familiar with them. Because practicing basically you're building your confidence, and I think that confidence is what's important. Um, I think that would be my remark. Um, Without further ado, I think let's just get into the session. Um, Today um, you're supposed to tackle the MCQs. So, mm, okay. So here it is. Um, I've gone through the documents, and I believe you guys have also done so. But I don't want us to read through line by line. So basically, what I'm going to do, I tried uh, uh, writing. Uh, I've tried writing them down. Basically, the main things that we're supposed to tackle today. So okay, I think that is sorted now. We're supposed to tackle the MCQs, and like I was saying, I've tried to at least summarize them. I was actually writing them in a book. Sorry, I didn't kind of type them so that I can show you guys. But basically, what is required of us here is we need to build or create a report. Now that we've been doing analysis and all those other things that we've been doing in the past, now it's time to create a report. Because basically, what we've been doing, we've been trying to solve the challenge that these particular people, the people of Banjindogo, have been facing. That is the water crisis challenge. Now that we've done most of the parts, now the remaining part is, of course, to build a report that we can present to the stakeholders. So the stakeholders in this case are, of course, the president, who is this lady, President Naledi. So we need to build a report that is specifically for her because she's the president. So that is why we need to create like a report that generalizes almost everything on a national level. And then we also need to have a report for provincial leaders because let's say, for instance, the structure of a government is such that if funds are to be distributed, then the funds come from top all the way down. So if let's say President Naledi wants this issue of water to be fixed, she needs to release funds. And for her to release funds, she needs to know how much am I supposed to release. And then, of course, the people who are facing these problems are not staying with Naledi at the national level. There are people who are down here. So that is why, first of all, the president needs to know how much he's supposed to give out, and then she needs to be able to know how much will each and every province need. And then now, after the provinces, now you can further distribute the money down. But basically, what us, the analysts here, what we need to do is to build two main reports. The first one is for the president, which is basically a summary of the survey results. Um, and then we also need to build reports for each and every province, right? And basically, that is what this upper part of the document is talking about. And then they've given us some sort of a template here on how we're supposed to structure our our dashboard or report. So basically, this is this should be the national view. So we have Majindogo water, which is basically this the country in this case. So there are key elements that we need to have on our report. We need to have the people affected, right? So that is the first section here, number of people affected per source and all that. And then we also need to have we need to be able to know what is affecting these people. That is the improvements that are supposed to be made, right? And then we also need to know the cost. So for instance, if we talk about drilling wells, then we need to know how many people are affected by wells that are not drilled and well maintained. And then we also need to, of course, it's a well, and then we need to know how much it will cost to maybe repair the well and all that. Okay. So that is what we need to build on a national level. And then I think there was also another one down here for province. Yeah, I think this one, yes. So this is an example of a report that is supposed to be read, but this is now supposed to be per province. For instance, this one is for Sokoto, right? So for Sokoto, we need to also have budget allocation, rural urban spending, the improvements that are supposed to be done. You can see here the total budget is $40 million. So it means the province of Sokoto, the amount of money that is needed for them is 40 million, right? So it means basically when a lady will be giving out funds, she'll be giving out to each and every province. That is why she needs to be able to know how much she's supposed to give out in total and how much each and every province will need, right? Um, so basically those are the things that we need to know and build. And then after that, uh, once we have them ready, we'll be able to answer our MCQs. All right. So I have a small template here that I had built. So basically, this is what we're supposed to do. This is for the national, and then um, instead of building a report for Sokoto, I wanted us to build for Amazi in this particular in this session because we already have the one for Sokoto. And then another thing about the provincial level reports is that basically it's not a lot of work. I'll show you guys once we are onto it. So I think let's just get onto it and then we'll continue. Okay, I think Michael has raised up a hand. You may speak.
Yes, so forgive me, I would like to send you guys a bit back a little. So when you were uploading the data itself, that is the MD water, the data itself to the Power BI. I don't know if you could just a minute go through that for me because I'm unable to create actually the relationship at a point. Well, I couldn't get the time to really do the previous MCQ before this one. And so if you could kindly go through the stage where you uploaded the Excel document and I think you changed that lock ID to suit or be in relation to the location ID. If you could go through that side for me, please.
All right, okay. I think let me just open up a new a blank Power BI file and then you just import it together and then you can see. Okay, so in this case, we're just opening up a blank report, and then we need to import the data. So to import data, of course, you can either use the get data link here, or in this case, our data is an Excel, or I think, yeah, an Excel. So you can just click on Excel workbook, and then after that, I think we need to navigate to where it is. So MD Water Services data. Um, so we need all these tables at the moment. So we'll just click everything here. We'll just mark all these tables because we need to import all of them. Then load. So it's gonna take a while because there are many tables and they're a bit huge. But basically, I think one important thing is that every time you load data into your Power BI, before you start using it or before you start creating the visual elements, it's always important to just peruse and go through the data, try to clean it up or just to avoid errors and um, wrong visualizations. Remember, if your data is erroneous, then of course it means the visualizations you will come up with will also not be accurate. So let's load the data and then we do just a random sample cleaning to ensure at least everything is okay. Um, all right, I think this is supposed to be done. Yes, so it's done. Yes, it's done. So we have our data here. You can see the data from this section. We have all these tables. But instead of viewing it on data on this pen, on the data pen, um, uh, let's view it on our Power Query. So to go to the Power Query, we come to the transform data here. So transform data is basically just here on the home ribbon. We have the transform data. So we just click on that, and then this one brings us to the Power Query editor. Now in the Power Query editor here, we are able to see some other things that we were not able to see previously when we just perusing through the data on the data pane. So for instance, you can see this one gives us the analytics for each and every table. For example, this is the infrastructure table that we started with here. You can see we have valid, error, empty. So validity at the moment, look at this one here. This table validity, valid 1%. So it's 1% valid. Error is 0%, empty 99%. So it means most of um, uh, most part of majority of this table is actually empty, right? And by the way, if you scroll down, you can see a lot of nulls here. So it's made up of very many nulls. Now, this is the infrastructure table. So basically, it contains information on what is it called? The cost of repairment. For instance, drilling a well is supposed to cost 8,500. This is supposed to be in dollars also. Installing a raw filter is supposed to be 4,200. So given that this thing has already told us here that our data is 1% valid, it means there's some sort of small errors that we need to fix. So for instance, in this case, the first thing we need to do is, of course, to do away with the empty rows because basically they are not doing anything. So to remove these empty rows, we can just come here to remove rows. So when you click on remove rows, the drop down and then remove blank rows. So we click on that and then you can see this one changes valid. Now it's 100% valid. We only have the rows that we will need, right? On the unit cost here, um, I'm trying to look at that. Okay, I don't know where it has gone to, but it's not supposed to be there. I wanted to change this to currency, but I think we can change it once we get back to the normal table. Once we go back to table view, I'm not seeing it here. But now you can see our infrastructure table. Now at least it looks a bit okay. Now we can go to location. Our location table here, validity 100%. So okay, most of the data here is valid, except there is one thing here. Look at the column names here. This is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. But then when we look at the first row here, we have location ID, address, province name, town name, location type. So basically from the look of this, you can tell that this row 1 is supposed to be the column titles, right? So we need to do away with this column 1, column 2 up to column 5. So what we can do in this case is to come here, use first row as headers. So when you click on that and then use first row as headers, now it's updated. Now you can see our headers are location ID, address, province name, town name, location type, and all that. Other than that, our data is just okay. There's no any other issue I'm seeing here. We can go to the next one, which is project progress. Project progress, project ID, source ID, address, town name. This one doesn't have any issues apart from these last two columns that are empty. But of course, these ones are supposed to be filled by what are they called? Those people who will be doing the repairs. So date of completion. So for instance, if it's supposed to drill well, then they're supposed to indicate, once they're done, they're supposed to indicate the date and then also the comment. So in this case, there's no need of removing these columns. You can just leave them the way they are because they'll be used later. Other than that, I don't see any other issue with our project progress table. Queue composition here, we have this column 1, which we're supposed to get rid of. It's not helping us at the moment. And the reason is, I think if you go to the model view, okay, I think it's a bit fixed. Yes, yes. If you come to the model view here, and look at the relationship between the water source related crimes table and queue composition, you see they link on column 1, right? They link on column 1 instead of actually they're not even supposed to link. But basically, you need to get of this column 1 because it's redundant. I think there's a part where they mentioned that oops, we're supposed to get rid of column 1 because it was inserted by, I don't know, somebody was doing what. So this column 1 is not helping us with anything. So we need to get rid of it. So you right click on the column. When you right click on the column and then just click remove, that one removes it. Then you can go to visit table. This table. Okay, I'm not seeing any issues, any common issues on the visits table here. I think so far it just looks fine. It doesn't have any issues that at least I'm seeing. Water source table. Valid 100%. So water source table I think is also just okay. Water source related crimes. This one we need to get rid of this column 1 also. So let's remove that. Victim's gender. I think other than that, this table is just fine. Well, pollution table. I think this one is also okay. So once you're satisfied with everything on the tables here, you just come and click on close and apply. It's on the left up of your Power BI editor. So when you click on close and apply, we wait for it to apply changes. So it's actually applying the changes.
Please ask Muhammad Michael to mute.
So once the changes have been applied, now you can see actually the tables that were not related, the relationship just form automatically. For example, location table was not connected to visit table, but now after some small cleaning, now you can see there's connection on location ID. Based on what you want to do also, you can connect different tables. For instance, in this case, we have infrastructure cost, and then we also have project progress. So basically, the things you're supposed to fix on this table, their cost is on this table. So you can as well connect these two tables, the project progress table and the infrastructure cost table. So to connect them, you just click on a column and then you drag it here, and then the relationships model will appear. Now here you can specify where you want the tables to connect on. For instance, you want them to connect on the improvements column. So you click on infrastructure cost improvement column and also project progress. You see, Power BI is able to determine the relationship automatically. Of course, it's one to many. You can see the cardinality here. And then we can decide to maybe make it bidirectional. Um, uh, and then you just click on save. So when you click on save, the relationship is established. What other relationship we need to establish here? Um, this table here is not connected to any table. Location, the water source related crimes is not connected to any table. So probably it has loc ID, so we can connect it to location table on location ID. So when you click on this and then you just drag it here, and then this one again pops up. So you just need to select the columns on which you want the tables to be connected on. In this case, we want to connect uh, water source related crimes table to location ID on location ID column. So it's location ID on the locations table, but it's loc ID on the water source related crimes table. So this is one to many. I think this one you can also make it bidirectional and then save. Once that is done, now you can see our tables are connected. And from here, at least, you are able to navigate through these tables. You can move from location to visits to water source and all that. We have established relationships after doing some small cleaning. You can see Power BI automatically establishes the relationships. Once your data is clean, Power BI has no issues. The relationship just gets established. I
Yes,
hope that
Lord.
answers Michael's question.
Yes, I think the issue I was having, I don't know how, I don't know if it has to do with my PC, I don't know exactly. How I was, you linked the lock ID and the water source related crimes to the location ID under the location. But better still, not to delay the members in this presentation. I would take note of what you've done, and I will start all over when I'm also addressing it. I will see probably maybe I shift I the lock ID and the water, it was not establishing any relationship at all.
Okay, I think what we
The
can do if okay.
the relationship opens up, and I'm trying to establish.
Um, okay, so Michael, what I was saying is that what we can do, I think maybe you can text me after we are done with this so that we can organize a session with you so that maybe I take you through the cleaning process and establishing the relationships.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so that is that. So there's no need of saving this because all that I had done on this table here. So our table was clean, and then I think the relationship had been established very well. Yeah. Now, I think let's continue. So, like I said, the things we need to do are basically to build reports for national and provincial levels. So I want us to start creating the visualizations. Uh, so I'm trying to look at certain section here. Yes. There's something that they said here that let's put ourselves in the shoes of one of our users. Imagine you are President Lady for a moment. As a user, I want to, and then these are the things they want to. So sometimes when you're giving reports, you need to put yourself in the shoes of the person who will be reading that report. Uh, as much as you'll be doing the technical part, but then whatever you do should be easy for somebody else who will be going through it who is non-technical to be able to understand and know what you've actually done. All right. So these are the things that this person is mentioning that if he or she was uh president and lady, then these are the things she would want to build, right? Uh-huh. And then the second one is for provincial leaders. So their user story is as a leader of a particular province, I want to see data only relevant to my province. I need to understand the state of water access in my province, the scope of work we have to complete, and understand the financial aspects related to the improvements. So this one, you assume you are the provincial leader. What is it that you want? Of course, as a provincial leader, you want report tailored just to your province. You're not interested on other provinces. You just want your province. And then the things you need to do, right? So that is that. I just wanted to mention that. So let's continue. So this is my thinking. You are welcome to build yours like mine, but try to do something different if you are comfortable. So you can build a report that you feel is more beautiful to you. But also building one like this one is not so bad. So for purposes of time and of course this session, I'm just going to build a report like this one. And then now for purposes of practice, of course, during your free time, you can also build a report that you feel looks good for you. So I grouped similar things in boxes, and the three different boxes tell this story. So who are we doing this for, and where are they? So that is basically the people, all right, and their locations, where they are in urban and also in rural places of Majindogo. What do we need to do, and where do we need to do it? So that is the improvements that are supposed to be done, and then what we discuss. So the improvements, the things you need to do, how much will they cost? Okay. The data story is natural in this order. We don't start with cost, then We don't start with cause, then who we are improving water for, and end with what we want to do. Makes sense. Okay. So go ahead, create a new visual page, nationals, split it up like mine if you want, create a title and start adding visuals. Also add a slicer to the control section so that you can select provinces. Okay, so this is what they want. We will first start by creating a slicer, and then we'll incorporate a map so that when you click on any province on the slicer here, it's shown on the map, right? So that's the first thing we are going to build. So on the nationals page here, and then on the nationals page here, so I think I can just get rid of these. So I get rid of that, and then maybe let me move this one a little bit this side. Yeah, like that. Now we need to add a slicer. So let me just expand the visualizations here. How is this slicer funnel? Yes. So we need to add a slicer, and then you want the provinces. So province name. So that is our slicer. We want to design it to look a bit okay. So currently it just has the province names going down. So maybe we can format it a little bit. So instead of vertical lists, I don't know if this will be okay. Yeah. So we can have it as a tile like that. We can get rid of the title. Okay, it doesn't have a title already. Okay, so that is our slicer for different provinces, right? So you can click on a cutscene and all that, but of course now it's not doing anything because we have not linked it to any other visual element. So I think the next thing we can do is we can add a map so that when we click on any province, then it gets highlighted on the map. So for that, of course, I know we are familiar with the map. We've been doing it for quite some time. So you just select on a shape map. So let's select on a shape map like this, and then we have the province name. So let's go to map setting, and then instead of USA, we want a custom map, and then we get JSON data and correct. So we have our map there. So right now you see if you select on a province from the slicer, it's highlighted. So this is
Lord,
Sokoto.
is it
Yes.
possible that you can start from scratch and show me how you build the boxes that I'm seeing here?
Um. Okay.
Before
This box.
you go on, Lord, before you answer, 9, I think it is being recorded. So if it's possible for you, if you can just allow us to continue, then you can watch through the video. Or Lord, you okay to start?
I wanted to tell him if we can do it once we are done with this. Like once the session is over, and then I can show him how to build the boxes. It's not a long
Okay.
process. Yeah. So currently, if you click on any province, it gets highlighted on the map, right? So maybe we
There's a
can
question, Lord.
yes.
Sorry, there's a question.
Mhm.
All,
What's the question?
Kehind, I think you're the one who raised your hand.
Please, can other people to join when you want to teach him how to do the boxes? Good evening.
Yes, yes, yes. We will do it just before the session. Once I'm done with this session, I'm going to show you how to build the boxes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I think we can continue. We can so you can style your map the way you want. Maybe fill color, and then show all. I want each and every province to have like a different color. So I can click on that, and then maybe this. I'm not good with colors, so you guys will have to forgive me on these. Okay, I think that's okay. Maybe you can use these, yeah. Mm, yes. And then for that one, mhm. Yes, I think now that looks okay. This one, maybe we can change this to be somewhat reddish, or what is this color now? Reddish. Yeah. And then this one, okay, I think I've tried. This was not a graphic design class, but now we have our map there. Another thing we can do about the map, of course, we can also incorporate the um, um I'm forgetting the image. So for that, so let's insert an image. We go to insert. I hope I still have that image. Then image. Oh, it's still there. So we have the image. I think I'll need to remove the background for this one. Not setting. Where was the background? That's not there. Mhm. Yes, background. So we turn off the image background, and then we need to align it very well with our map here, with our image, sorry. So first of all, I need to send this to back. Mhm. This is the hardest part for me on this thing. Having to align these things like this is a bit tricky. Oh my God. Not that one, not that one. Okay, I think it doesn't have to be perfect, but this is just okay. Yes, and then you group it. So once it's grouped, I think we can move it a bit up like this. Okay, okay, okay. Let me expand it a little bit and then ungroup it so that I can fix it. Ungroup and then we need to expand these. Okay, I'll stop at that because this is going to take the whole day. I think we can group it just like that. So all in all, if we click on any province on the slicer here, it gets updated on our map. So that's the first thing we need to do. So basically, we've done the first part. Now, after this, um, we need to also have visualizations for the people affected on the national level, and then we categorize them as rural and urban. So basically, what we need here, we need to be able to map the people number of people affected by provinces, and also we also need to further categorize them as either if they're living in urban areas or in rural areas. So for that, I we can use a column chart. I think they use the column chart if I'm not wrong. So a column chart like this. So maybe we can remove this, and then our column chart will sit here. So we need the province name, province name on the y-axis, and then we also need to number of people. So number of people, I think it was in water source. Number of people served, and now we want this one to be on the x-axis. And then we want the sum of aggregate like this. And then we also want location type. So location type goes on the region. Yeah, location type goes on the. I think they gave the maps and headings. Let me just confirm the titles. Oh, they're not titles, just the province names and then measures here and also the legend up there. So we can remove the title. Anyways, the title is quite long, so I think it makes sense to kind of get rid of it. So we get rid of the title, and then we also get rid of I think this one on the x-axis, remove that, and also on the y-axis, you also remove that like that. So our map is our visuals are minimal and also they convey information. So you can just put it well like this. Um, okay, just a bit. Yeah, remove the title and also x-axis and also of the title. Yes. So at least we have that. So we can see people who are served per province. Now, again, if you click on any province, you can see the slicer changes all through. So our map, it highlights Akasi, and also here also we can see it's the only data for Akasi. If you go to Amanzi, like that, basically all the provinces. So that is cool. That is cool. Now, this is the number of people served per province, and then we further categorize it into rural and also urban. You can style your visuals the way you want. Basically, when you come to the visuals on this side, you can always use whatever style you want. You can come to the bars here and then you change the colors, or you can pick on maybe if it's urban and then you give it a color. Maybe urban, we give that color, and then rural, we can give it another fancy color. Maybe which color can you give it? Maybe nope, that's almost the same. Yeah, maybe you can give it that. So you can see it looks a bit fancy and somewhat beautiful. So this is the number of people affected per province. You also need to be able to know the uh, number of people affected per water source. Number of people affected per water source. So I think for that you can also just use a column chart. Did they use horizontal column chart or what? Yes. So we need to know the number of people affected per water source. So we also still need again column charts, and then number of people affected per water source. So it means we need type of water source. Type of water source, it's there, and then number of people served. So this one goes on the x-axis, and then we want the sum. We want the sum, and then also location type. Location type. Yes, like that. We can get rid of these titles and these column names because of limitation of space. But first, maybe we can also style this a little bit. At this time, we can give it, yeah, that color for rural, and then for urban, we can give it a more brighter color. Uh, okay, that one doesn't look good. Yeah, maybe that. And then we need to get rid of, we don't want these titles. So title, we can off it. That is for the y-axis. For x-axis also, we can off the title. And then the visual title also, we can turn it off. So we have that. Also a column chart on number of people served per source. I think that, and then you can reduce this also a little bit. Yes, so you can see our report is slowly but surely becoming alive. It's becoming alive. Now we are done with the people. So the first part was basically to know people who are affected. This particular one, who are we doing this for and where are they? So we know the people who we are doing this for are the people of Majindogo. We visualize them and also their locations. What do we need to do? Where do we need to do it? So we also need to go to the second part, which is basically this part, the improvements you're supposed to work on. Okay, so we need to know the number of improvements per province and also per source. Now, we need to know the number of improvements and then also per province. So we can use a column chart. Let me just confirm what they use here. Oh yeah, they've used column charts for both of them. Okay, so we can use column charts for this one here. So I think we can get rid of these, and then we'll have a column chart. So the first column chart is going to be number of improvements per province, right? So we can have province name and then number of improvements. So improvements is I think it's project progress. Yes, we have improvements here, right? So improvements, it's not supposed to be on the legend, it's supposed to be on the yeah, yes, and then count. Yes, I think that's okay. Count of improvement. So in this case, we have improvements per province. So you can see Kilimani has the highest number of improvements. It means it's in Kilimani where a lot of their water infrastructure is damaged, right? And it's Amanzi where it's the least. Okay, so in this particular section also, I think we can just turn these ones off because now it has become our norm. We can just do away with the titles. And then maybe we can style these columns to look a bit interesting. So that is for Kilimani. For Sokoto, we can also give it another color, maybe this. Akatsi, you can also give it yeah, maybe that. Then for Awasa, yeah, I think we can leave it like that. But basically now we have improvements per province. So we have improvement per province, and then yes, we have the improvements per province there. What was the other thing? So that is, I think this one you can give a title. They have given a title, number of improvements. And then these are the improvements that are supposed to be done, right? So we need to also know the improvements that are supposed to be done. Okay, so let's give this a title and then also improvements to be done. You can give it back its title. So number of improvements. Number of improvements, then you can bolden it, and then we are done. Yes, so we have the number of improvements per province, right? So again, you select on a province and then you can see everything changes. That is very nice. Okay, let's continue. Now we need to install, we need to also visualize um, the why do I keep on forgetting? Yes, we need to also visualize the improvements here, these ones here. So let's go. So we also need a column chart for that. So we can make it big for the first time just to see. And then now we need to have the improvements. We need to have the improvements, and then we also need to have number of improvements. So we can also use improvement. We use the same thing on two axes. That is, we use improvement on the y-axis and also on the x-axis. Now, if you look at this one here, we have install arrow filter is the highest. So it basically means that if you are to sum the improvements in Majindogo that are supposed to be done, it's arrow filters that needs to be fixed the most because they are the most broken. And then you also, the second one is diagnose local infrastructure, and then followed by install UV and arrow filters, drainways, and all that. And then we also have these other ones here. Install 1 taps nearby, install 8 taps nearby, and all this. I think on the slides, they have mentioned that we need to combine these into one thing because when it's like this, you can imagine if you present these to a stakeholder, they probably gonna get confused because this one looks redundant. So we need to combine it all into one so that we can have like one column to represent them all. And then another thing is diagnose local infrastructure. This one we were also supposed to change this because okay, it's long because that name is so long. So we need to shorten it. So to do that, I think let me just open up. I think this is a part they said. Yes, yeah. So this is the DAX formula that this person used. So he added some blanks. Oh, Zashi Dalila. She added some blanks so that we should be able to fill these blanks. So basically, it means we need to check improvements where an improvement has install 1 tabs nearby up to install 8 tabs nearby, and then we need to aggregate them all as one column as install public tabs. And then we also need to also check column that has this diagnose local infrastructure, and then this name is long, so we need to or replace it with repair infrastructure. All right. So we need to write a DAX for this. So basically that means I think they given it a name. Let me confirm the name real quick. Aggregated improvements here. So it means we need to create another column in our project progress table called aggregated improvements, and then we need to write all this. So we need to fill that one. So in a nutshell, it means this one we need to change it, and then we need to combine these ones into one. Okay, so let's go to the table view, and then on the table view we want this table, yeah, project progress table. So on the project progress table here, this is where we want to write our DAX. So to write a DAX, because this is a new column we want to create, we'll click on new column. So new column. Okay, it's taking forever. Oh, thank you. Now it's called, what was that name? Aggregated improvements. And then aggregated improvements equals if, and then we check if it contains string, and then we're supposed to fill that string, right? So basically, what we're supposed to do here is we need to check if this condition is true. If it's true, then we're supposed to output this one, right? So it means what we want to do here is we want to check if contains string is, you remember when we were talking about the DAX functions or DAX methods, contains string basically checks a presence of a string in that particular column. So in this case, the table we are querying is the project progress table. The column we are interested with is the improvements column. Now in the improvements column, we want to check if the string install 1 tabs nearby is present in that particular for instance in a particular row, right? So it's going to look through all the rows and confirm the presence of the string, right? So what we need to do here, we are going to use contain string function, of course, and then because these columns from our visualization here, oh, from our visualization, sorry. So let me just, yes, it starts from install 1 tabs nearby, and then we also have installed 2 tabs nearby, 3 tabs nearby, 4 tabs nearby, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So all these we need to combine them into one thing. So what we are going to do is we're going to, let's create a column, and then our contain strings function is going to check the presence of each and every one. So it's going to first check if install 1 tabs nearby is present, if install 2 tabs nearby, up to install 8 tabs nearby. So this column is called aggregated aggregated improvements. I hope it's improvements and not improvement. So aggregated improvements is equals to, and then we have an if. Let me close it in advance, and then contain strings. Now contain strings, sorry, let me close it also in advance. So we want to check the presence of the first string. So project progress, we are going to improvement. So if it contains this string, install 1 tabs nearby. Kindly check for me the spelling. I hope it's install 1 tabs nearby. So if that one is present, or if contains string, project, or if this one contains the string install 2 tabs nearby. So you want to do this up to the the last one. Contain string project progress improvement. Where is it? Improvement. Install 3 tabs nearby, or contain string install 4 tabs nearby, or contain string install 5 tabs nearby. I should have written these long time ago. I wish I knew. Contains string project progress install 6 tabs nearby. Oops. Or contains string improvement install 7 tabs nearby. Contains string project progress install 8 tabs nearby. So it means if any of these conditions are true, then what we want to do is we want to put them as install, what was it? Install public tabs, I believe. Install public tabs, like that. So it's going to check all these and then it's going to put them as install public tabs, right? This was the first condition. The second condition was for us to check if diagnose local infrastructure, and then we need to replace it with the repair infrastructure, if I'm not wrong. So again, we can have another if statement here, and then we can say if improvement column is equals to diagnose local infrastructure. Infrastructure. I hope that's the spelling of infrastructure. So if that is it, then we're supposed to change it to repair infrastructure. Repair infrastructure. Repair infrastructure. And then of course these ones you need to update them on the progress improvements, like that. I want to believe I've written the column these things correctly. Otherwise, if there's any mistake, then it might bring an error. So I think let's run this one and then we see. Okay, so our DAX formula has run. I can see it has been filled here correctly, install arrow filters and all those. I'd be interested to see. Maybe let's use a filter and then see. Yes, it's actually here. Install public tabs and then also repair infrastructure. Okay, so it means our formula is okay. Okay. Now back to our visualization here. Now instead of using these install tabs, 1 tabs nearby, 2 tabs, and all that, we are going to instead of using improvements, we're going to use aggregated improvements. We're going to use our new column, the one that we've just computed. So we are going to click on that. Oops, I was supposed to add also, I was supposed to add what province? Was it province? Okay, what was I supposed to add on the x-axis? I've forgotten. Oops. Oh, it's supposed to be count. Supposed to be count. So we're going to use the same one here, and then we have the count. So you can see, guys, we have repair infrastructure. So these columns, this particular bar here, its name has changed. And then look, we have now installed public tabs instead of those many things that we had previously, right? Let's see how they've styled theirs. Okay, it's good. No fancy things on the visual, so we can also get rid of the fancy things. Our x-axis, let's remove the title. y-axis and x-axis, we remove the titles, and then our title also we get rid of it, and I think that's it. For the bars, maybe you can give them a color, maybe like this. Yeah, that looks a bit stunning and beautiful. So we have all that. Okay, okay. Now, that one looks good. That one looks good. Again, we can filter by provinces. Then we can see, for instance, we can see in Awasa, we can see the number of UV and uh, uh, UV and arrow filters that are supposed to be installed. You can see the number of wells that are supposed to be drilled, and all that. I think something also that these people did, they added these values. The values they added, they were inside the bars. So maybe we can also do that. You know, it makes it easier to actually see those figures. So you can come here. I hope it's the bar. No, data labels somewhere. Very good. So on the data labels here, when you turn the data labels on, you can see the values appear there. So we need to put them inside the bars, so you come to position here and then inside end. So it means it will be inside towards the end of the bars, right? So when you do like that, you can see now it's showing and it's beautiful. All right, so that is that on the improvements that are supposed to be made. Now, we need to deal with this section, and then this section basically talks about budget and the costs, right? So calculation, we need to know the cost or the budget per province, and then also the budget per improvement type. So how much are we supposed to allocate to Akatsi? How much are we supposed to allocate to Kilimani? And how much money is needed to install RO filters or to repair infrastructure and all that. Okay, now let's go back to our document. So this one we have done. Now we are using our new column and it looks nice. Now let's start off with the budget. This improvement, it costs a lot of money, of course. The project managers added an infrastructure cost table that has an estimate of what it will cost to make the repairs. For each improvement in infrastructure cost, there's a cost of improving a water source in US dollars. For example, to improve one river source, we have to drill well, which will cost 8,500. That is from our infrastructure cost table, right? The project planners, though, thought through the costs a bit more and realized that rural water sources are much harder to improve than urban ones. So they suggested that we add 50% to the cost of any rural sources improvement budget. All right. So we need to increase the budgeted improvement cost by 50%. We'll call that rural adjusted cost. Create a new column called rural adjusted cost and calculate the increased budget for each of the improvements. So rural adjusted cost. So let's check that table, the infrastructure costs table. So this is the table. Now this table here has the improvements that's supposed to be made, and also it's supposed to be dollars. So we can make it dollars here like that. So this table has the improvement that's supposed to be made vis-a-vis the cost. You can see drilling well is supposed to cost 8,500. Now, initially, this was the general price that these people um, had had thought of, but then they realized that doing these things on the rural areas is a bit tricky. Probably because of other reasons that they know that we are not aware of. So what they want us to do is they want us to ensure that at least we up this cost by at least 50%. So if it's 8,500, we need to increase it by 50%. And then we'll ensure that if drilling wells is taking place in a rural area, then we will not be using this column for unit cost. Instead, we'll be using the rural adjusted cost column, which is the column we are going to create here. All right. So let's create that column. Of course, this is we are using ducts. Let me just confirm one more time. Rural adjusted cost, okay. So let's create that column. It's called rural adjusted cost. Is it cost or cost? Cost, okay. Rural adjusted cost. So we need to create a new column. Our new column is called rural adjusted. So rural adjusted cost is supposed to be they're supposed to take the amount of the unit cost, and then we add 50% to it. So it means we need to calculate 50% of 8,500. 50% of uh, of 8,500, that is supposed to be 4,250. So 4,250 we need to add to the 8,500. So that will give us, I think, around 12,000 and something dollars, right? So that is what they want us to compute. Now what we can do in our formula here, 8,500 is already 100%. So what we need to do, we need to take 8,500, we multiply by 150, because 85% is the initial price. Now it's assumed it's the 100%, but we want 50% of it on top. So we are going to take the unit cost, which is 8,500, and then we multiply by 1.5, right? So this table is infrastructure. So infrastructure, and then we want the unit cost in USD, and then we multiply it by 1.5, like that. So 1.5 is just 150%. If we are to multiply direct, it will be 8,500 times 150 over 100. So 150 over 100 is basically just 150 divided by 100, which is 1.5, right? So we click that, and then we have our column here. You can see when we calculated, I said it's 12,000 and something. You can see we are getting the exact value as 12,750. Now that is our new column, has been calculated there. Looks good. Well, now we've calculated that. Let's go back and see what else they want. Yes, we've calculated that. Next up, budgeted improvement costs. Now that we know the cost of each improvement, let's update the project progress table with a new column that calculates the cost of each improvement based on the type of improvement and whether it is rural or not. So we've already, now we know we have the unit cost. So for example, to drill a well, it costs 8,500. Now we'll assume 8,500 is now on urban areas, but in rural areas, we added 50%. Now it's 12,750. So they want us to create another column in our project progress table called budgeted improvement cost. Now this column, what we are going to calculate is the cost of each improvement based on the type of improvement. So cost of each input, for example, if it's to drill a well, that is the type of improvement. And then we also need to consider whether this work is being done on rural or not. All right. So let's continue. Create a DAX formula that looks up the improvement in the project progress table and either fetches the unit cost USD value if the source is in a town. So if the source is in a town, then we are going to use the unit cost USD column, or fetches rural adjusted column if the source is in a rural area. So if the source is in a rural area, then we are going to use the rural adjusted cost column. So they have given us a DAX formula here, which is also not complete. So we probably need to complete it. So we have the budgeted improvement cost, and then we have if the project progress and then blank equals to that, then blank infrastructure cost rural, like that, like that. So in this case, okay, so what is happening here? We are dealing with the two tables. We have the infrastructure cost table, which has the costs, and then the improvement, the project progress table, which we are supposed to update. So it means what we are going to do is this. The first part here, which is the if statement, is supposed to check the if where we need to do the improvement is a town or rural. So if it's, for example, let's say here we are going to put a column name here. So if project progress, the name of this column is, for example, let's say rural, then infrastructure cost, rural justice cost. So we are going to look in the infrastructure cost table, we're going to look at the rural adjusted cost column, right? And then, okay, I think we are going to use a lookup value function. The one that you remember when we were doing spreadsheets or Excel, we learned about VLOOKUP function. So VLOOKUP is the same as lookup value function in Power BI. So I think let's just go here and then I can write it and then we'll be able to understand. So we're going to use two tables. That is this table, which is the infrastructure costs table. And then we are also going to use the project progress table. So we need to write our DAX formula on this table, project progress, because it's here where we want to create a new column, right? The column is called budgeted improvement cost, I think. Let me just confirm. Yes, budgeted improvement cost. Budgeted improvement cost. Now, I think from the formula we had an if. So budgeted improvement cost is equals to if. So project progress, that column that contains rural or town. So project progress. Okay, I think we're going to use the town column. Let me just filter and see. Yes. Okay. So we have the town names here. So what these people have done on this table is that if a town is in a rural, okay, I think is there a town in a rural because it's rural because there are no towns. But anyway, Places that are rural have been indicated as rural on the town column. And then if a place is a town, then of course we are going to have its name. So what we are going to do here, we are going to have the if statement checking if the town column has rural in a cell, then we want to go and use lookup value function. So let me write the that. We go to home, let's create a new column. It was budget. Okay, let me confirm this again. Budgeted improvement cost. So budgeted improvement cost, that's the name of the column. So budgeted improvement. Okay, budgeted improvement cost. So budgeted improvement cost was, so we have the first part, which is if. So I like to open them and close them. So project progress, town. So if town is rural, if a town is rural, so if a town is rural, we want to look up from the infrastructure table. So lookup value function takes three parameters, right? The first parameter is the results column. Okay, results that we want are in the infrastructure table, infrastructure cost table on the rural adjusted cost column. Okay, because the if statement first checks if a town is rural. So for example, the first example here, this is rural, right? So it's true. The if statement is going to check, is town name rural? Yes, the town name is rural. Then our lookup value function is going to take three parameters. The first one is the result. So our result, we want it to come from the infrastructure cost table. And because the town name is rural, we want to pick a value from rural adjusted cost column. The second parameter is the what do we call it? The search column, all right? So we are searching for the improvement. Okay, this improvement we are searching it from the infrastructure cost table, right? So town name is rural, right? If town name is rural, we want a value from the rural adjusted cost in the infrastructure cost table. But then in that table, we also have improvements, right? So we are searching for specific improvement. So if improvement is install arrow filter, so we already have the improvement install arrow filter. We also already know the value. So the third parameter is now the search value. So we are taking a value from the project progress table, the improvement from the improvement column. All right. This is our search value. We have search value and we have search column. So for example, in this case, let's use this project ID 17. The town is rural. The first condition is fulfilled, right? The second condition, we want to pick a value from the improvements column. So for instance, we picked install arrow filter. So if we pick install arrow filter, this is the value we are going to search in the infrastructure cost table. So we go to the column with specified where we want to search. That is the search column. So in the search column, we are searching for improvement. The improvement we are searching for specifically is the install arrow filter. Once we find install arrow filter, we go to the results column. Now in the results column, we want to get the rural adjusted cost, right? So let me write it. We have lookup value function like this. So the lookup value function takes three parameters. The first one is the result column. So you want a result from the infrastructure cost, and then infrastructure costs table, rural adjusted cost column. So we get that. And then I think let's put it down like this. Yes. And then you see actually it's giving me what are these called? Suggestions. So again, we look at the infrastructure cost. We want improvements like this, comma, and then the search value. So the search value, we are searching from, okay, let me put it in. We're searching for project progress and then improvements like this. All right. So if project progress town column is rural, we want you to do this. We want you to take the search value, which is the project progress improvement, which in this case, for example, we are using install arrow filter. You take the search value and then go and search it in the in this column, improvement in the infrastructure cost table. Go and search for that value in that table. If you find that value, we want you to record the that row where you found that value. We want you to get for us the rural adjusted cost, the figure which is there, right? Okay, now this is the first part of our if statement. So if it's true that the town name is rural, then this is what is going to be executed, right? What if uh what if uh the town name is not rural? So it means anything that is not rural. So we put it down here. Okay. So if it is not rural, then we're going to use the same function, which is lookup value function, but now not on the rural adjusted cost column, but on the unit cost USD column. So here it will be lookup value function. And then on the lookup value function here, we have the infrastructure cost, but now unit cost USD, unit cost USD. And then we are looking for infrastructure cost improvement. And then, of course, it's project progress improvement. Project progress improvement. Yes. So this is how VLOOKUP works, right? I hope you've understood it. Then now let's commit. Yes. Now that is correct. Now you can see this town is rural. Oh, okay. This town here is rural. You can see installer of filter is 6,300. So that one has been successful. Now let's go back to our slides and continue. So we've done this, and so far so good. The next column we will need to create is basic water access. How will we know if we succeeded in the project when people have water? So when people have water, you can say we've succeeded. So we can classify water sources according to the UN requirements. So basically, according to United Nations, we have all these requirements for uh, um, I don't know what's the right word to use, but we have all these to determine if the water source uh, is fit for consumption or something. So we have safely managed, and then the drinking water from an improved source that is accessible on premises, available when needed, and free from result and priority chemical contamination. So it means if the water you are accessing have these qualities, then it is safely managed. It's accessible on premise. For instance, if you have a tap, it's available when you need it. It's free from all these contaminations, then safely managed. And then we also have basic. So drinking water from an improved source, provided collection time is not more than 30 minutes for a round trip, including queue time. So it means even if you are fetching water, but the time it takes for you to go to the point of collecting the water, you queue, you take what's the word? You draw water and then you come back. It should take not more than 30 minutes. Then that is considered basic, right? And then we also have limited, where drinking water from an improved source for which collection time exceeds 30 minutes for a round trip, including queue time. So if you go to collect water, and then queue, collect water and come back, it takes more than 30 minutes, that is limited. So basically, according to United Nations, an improved water source should have basic and above, right? Basic and above. If you have limited and improved and surface water, then that is not considered uh, an improved water source, right? In order for a water source to be classified as basic, it must satisfy these requirements. Rivers are not improved sources, so they are not included. We don't include rivers. These are natural sources of water. It will be so tricky to improve a river because I don't know, it's so tricky. Wells are improved only if they are clean, so all contaminated wells are excluded. So well will not be uh, considered basic unless it's clean, right? Public taps are improved sources, but only if the queue time is less than 30 minutes. For you to say that this public tap is improved source, queue time should be less than 30 minutes, right? And then broken infrastructure taps are not basic because they do not work. Yes, those taps don't work, so you can't consider them as improved. All taps installed in homes across Magindogo are at least basic. They're actually safely managed. Yeah. So once we have this, we can estimate how many people live, how many people's lives we will improve by upgrading all of that. Um, so step one is complex, so let's break it down together a bit more. Step A, that is step A of step one, we have to calculate the average queue time for each water source. This means we need to aggregate per source. Step B, we need to create the control flow logic to check wells and taps to classify them as being basic or not. So step A, of course, is to calculate the average queue time for each water source first in the water source table. Remember, we want to aggregate queue time using the average for each source ID so that the average queue times are calculated for each source. So this is what I used. I added some blank values for you to fill in. So we need to calculate average queue time. Remember here, we already say that for it to be basic, then collection time is not more than 30 minutes for a round trip, including queue time. So you want to know the average queue time per water source. So basically, we'll check if it's 30 minutes and all that, and then we'll be able to continue from there. So for now, we need to calculate this average queue time. We need to calculate blank visits that, calculate average time in queue. And then we need to filter the visits table on visits. This probably source ID, I believe. We are filtering the visits table on source ID equals to water source ID because these are two tables. I think they were connecting on source ID if I'm not wrong. So filter the visits table for each specific water source. All right. So we need to write the DAX for this. And this one is on water source table. This one is on water source table. So, okay, average queue time. Although there are a lot of calculations here. I should have done some early enough. Water source. So we need to calculate average queue time per water source. If I'm not wrong, just confirm one more time. average queue time. So we need to calculate. I think we need to calculate average. I think this first blank should be average. And then visits. Let's look at this table. Where's the visits? Visits. Time in queue. Time in queue. So we need to calculate the average visits time in queue. Then I think we're supposed to filter it with something. Filter that where water source that. Okay, I think this one is not so complicated. We're supposed to do it on water source table. Water source. Average queue time. So that is a new column. I hope it was a new column. So average queue time. Queue time. So average queue time is supposed to calculate average. So we want to calculate the average, I think it was visits time in queue. Then what are we supposed to do next? Oh, filter. 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 So we are filtering visits, where visits source ID equals to water source ID. Let's run that. And we have average queue time. So these ones are zero because I think from the visits table, the time in queue was zero. Yes, we can see values from down here. Okay. Okay, good. Oh, all right. Okay. Now if you should have a new column with average time in queue for each water source. Step B, we classify each water source, each source as being basic or below basic. Okay. So basic water access. Check if water source is a well and if it is clean. If it is clean, the clean was in the well pollution table. Okay. So we need to, okay, there are two conditions we're going to evaluate for each if statement. So the first one, check if water source is clean, and then if check if the water source is well and if it is clean. That is why we have two blanks here, right? And then the second one is basic. So if these two conditions are met, then that water is classified as basic access. So assign basic if both conditions are true, clean well, right? And then the second part of if is check if water source is a tap inside the home. So if a tap in home, if a tap in home, so taps in home are basically basic because the queue time is of course less than 30. Assign basic if it's true that a tap is a tapping form. And then the last if statement is check if water source is a shared tap and the average queue time is less than 30 minutes. If it's a shared tap and then queue time is less than 30 minutes, then it should be considered basic access. Assign basic access if both conditions are true, that it's a shared tap with the queue less than 30 minutes. If none of these conditions are true, the ones we've talked about, then the water source is considered below basic access. So assign below if none of the above conditions are not met. Okay. um so if that, I'm trying to cram this so that when I go to the dark section I'm just be writing it. Okay, so we have three if statements. The first one is if water source is well and is clean. The second one is if water source is a tap in a home, basically just checks for one. The third one is if it's a shared tap and time is less than 30 minutes. Okay, and now let's go to our DAX and or let's go to our table and rights. So it's in the okay, so we are here, so we need to write this is water source table. Yeah, water source table. So we need to check if water source is either basic access or below basic access. Let's create another column. New column. Ooh, I'm forgetting that name. What was the name of the column? Basic water access. Okay. So the name of the column is basic water access. No, not there. Come on. Basic water. Basic water access. So we have if. Now the first condition you're supposed to check is if water type, if type of water is a well, and also if it's clean. So clean was coming from well pollution table. If you guys can remember the results column. So results we had clean, contaminated biological, contaminated chemical, and all that. And then type of water source is just from this table, water source table. So we need to check two conditions. So if we have to check two conditions, we use the and, right? Remember, and returns true if both conditions are true. So if it is true that water source is a well and also pollution, also there is, and it's also clean, then both are true, then it will return true. All right. So let's query our water source. Let's water source and then type of water source. If the type of water source is a well, if the type of water source is a well, and also if it's clean. So this is on another table. So we are trying to relate these two tables. We are trying to relate them by checking if it's a well and also it's clean. So here we're going to use related. We can use related. It's related, not related. So related and then well pollution. Why am I seeing an error? Okay, I missed a comma there. So well pollution results. Yes. Well pollution results. equals clean, like this. Okay, so this one checks for the first if statement. If this condition is true, then you want to consider them as basic access. Why am I having an error? Why am I having an error? Mhm. Parameter is not the correct type. Am I doing something wrong? Um,
You use nini. You're supposed to, the equal sign is supposed to be double, strictly equal.
like that. Okay, it's not yet, not yet. Mhm.
The well is supposed to be a capital letter. Starts with capital letter. You can try that one.
Capital W.
Yes, not really yet.
Okay, let's continue writing this and then we see at the end. I think maybe it might be problem with the with these brackets. So I think let's go to the end and then we'll come and evaluate it. If it's a problem with the brackets, then once we are done, I'll ensure I insert all the brackets and then we should be able to see where the error is coming from. So the next one is if. So if it was a tap in home, yes. So if water source um, type equals to tap in home, wait.
Just follow the formula of the syntax app of if. You should write it the same.
Sorry.
Just follow the formula of if. How it is written, just copy the same way.
Oh, oh yeah, okay. Basic access, and then if I think the last one here is supposed to check if water source is shared tap. Shared tap. If water source is shared tap, and also Average queue time is less than 30 minutes. So water source average queue time is less than 30. So if that is true, then this should be basic access. Health should be below. Okay, now it has too many errors. Ooh. Now let me see. It starts from here. Is it supposed to be here? Oh yes. Stupid me. I did not close this. Oh, okay. Mm, the water source is a tap in the phone. Is it supposed to be here? Why are these things confusing me? How many if statements? We have the first one, which is the outermost. We have this one. Should it be here? If we do like that, we are not going to. Okay, I think I want to write this thing afresh so that we have basic water access. Now I want to be able to catch it always. So if water
Lord,
yes,
Lord,
yes,
sorry for interrupting. For that and can we, if possible, replace it with that symbol for and?
can we replace it with the symbol
The,
for and?
yes, in Power BI.
I'm not so
I,
sure.
oh,
I'm not so sure if it will
okay.
work, but we can check. Provincial results. I don't know why up to this point it's bringing an error. Oh, video attributor is supposed to be and.
Results is not identified. Okay.
Basic access. Why is this table? Oh, I'm missing something important there. Unexpected expression, well pollution. This table is called well pollution, yeah. Let me confirm the relationship here real quick. Let me confirm relationship. Well, pollution and water source, it's okay. It is very okay. So why is it bringing errors? New column. This equal access if, and then and then we have water source. If type of water source is a well, and it's related related to well pollution. Okay, good results equals clean. Okay, good, no error. Basic access. So if that condition, both the conditions are true, that is basic access. And then the next one is if, and then if, what was the next one? Oh, tapping home, yes. If water source type equals tapping home. I hope tapping home was being written with the underscores. If tapping home, then that is basic access. Basic access. And then if I think there's we had two conditions. So the first condition if water source is shared up, and and key average queue time. Water source average queue time is less than 5 minutes. Then we are supposed to consider it basic access. If none of that is not true, then below basic access. Okay, I think now it's fine. The issue was here because I was missing a bracket. I did not arrange the if statements well. So we have three statements here, and then we also have ands. So, okay, somebody was asking if we replace this with this, like this. I don't think the symbols work in Power BI. Maybe if we were to use Python, they would work, or SQL. So it checks two conditions. The first condition is if water source is a well, and also the second condition is if it's clean. If these two conditions are satisfied, then we consider it basic access. And then the second part checks if it's a tap in home. Of course, taps in home, um, um, they're probably the most taken care of sources of water because you have it there. So basically, they're considered basic access. And then you also have if water source if the type of water source is a shared tap, so shared taps, of course, has a lot of people. But then, if the average time it takes for you to go there and collect water is less than 30, it's considered basic access also. If none of these conditions up here are true, then the water source will be considered below basic access. All right, so let's do that. And we can see our columns have been calculated here. Oh, God. Yes, we have it here. So these ones, basic water access, below basic, basic access, below basic access, and all that. So you can have that one. Oh, that one was almost stressful. Yeah, let's continue. Okay, now the final step is to create a new measure that calculates the basic um, access level as the number of people. Wait, the final step is to create a new measure, right? So the new measure calculates the basic water access level, basic water access level as the number of people who have basic access to water, divided by the total number of people in Majindogo. Remember to format these as a percentage and show no decimals. Format these as a percentage and show no decimals. I want to see the visuals where they have done that. Oh, this is what they want, percentage of access to, percentage of people with basic access to water. Where were we? Not there. We calculated the average queue time. Oh, create a new measure that calculates the basic water access level. Basic water access level as the number of people who have basic access to water divided by total number of people in Majidogo. So remember to format this as a percentage and show no decimals. So we need to calculate the percentage of people who have access to basic water. Basically, what we are going to do is we're going to get the number of people who are having basic water access, and then we are going to divide by the total population, and then we are going to convert it into percentage. Now this is a measure, all right? So now that it's a measure, let's go and calculate it. And then we'll include it up here. So maybe you can remove these. Yeah, so we are going to have the percentage up there. Let's calculate it real quick. So it's a measure, new measure. So we want basic water level or water access level. Basic water access level. It's supposed to be in percentage. Oh, no, that is not percentage, in percentage. So here what we need to do, we need to get people who have basic access, and then we are going to divide with the total population, right? So population in this case is the number of people served. We need to get the sum. Okay, this involves division. So we are thinking we are going to need divide, and then we want to filter. We want to filter each and every row where we have basic access. We need to sum rows that have basic access. So I'm also again thinking about using sum expression, sum x. And then of course total population, we are going to just use sum. So here is my thinking. I'm thinking divide. So we're going to divide. Now here, what do we want to divide? We want to divide some x. Now in the sum x here, we need to include an expression. You remember when we learned about sum x and all that. So we want to filter. We want to filter. We want to filter. Want to filter water source. Now, what do we want to filter? We want to filter a water source where the basic this new column that we've created, basic water access level equals to basic access, like that. Of course, this is supposed to be water source, number of people served. Yes. So what we want to do, we want to filter this table. We want to filter it on basic access, all right? And then we are going to sum them. That is why we have filter. We are filtering the water source table. We are filtering the basic water access column where the value is basic access, and then we are getting the number of people served for those basic access columns. So basically, for instance, here it will take 270. It will come here again, take 270, like that, and sum them up. So after summing them up, we'll get the sum x. Then we are dividing by sum. So we are dividing by sum of number of people served. So basically, it's water access, water source. Where is number of people served? Number of people served, like that. So we compute that, and then now we have it here. Now we need to include it on our visual. So on the visual here, I think we'll just use a card to show it. So card. Oh no, not that one. So we have a card here, and then this card we are going to use water access level percentage. So it's 0.34. They want us to convert it to percentage. So I think we can first of all do with that, and then we can add a title to it. So title is what was the title here? Percentage population access to basic water. Sorry, percentage population access to basic water. Then we bolden it. We put it in the center. This is supposed to be in percentage. So colored value. Value. I'm looking for the format. Is it here? No, this is for the card. Data format, percentage. Then the decimals, we need to get rid of them. Yeah, 34%. Yeah, I think that's okay. Once we have that, let's continue. Okay, this is taking last step, the basic access percentage tells us how many people have access to basic water services, but we might also need to need the percentage of people who don't have access to basic water too. If you think about this, we want that number to be 0 once we're all done, right? So we want the percentage to be 0 once it's done. So we have calculated two things: how much will this upgrade cost, and what will be the impact. Add a budget table that have the breakdown of costs per province and per improvement type. Add a visual that will show the percentage of the budget allocated to each province. So we need to add tables that have breakdown of costs per province and also per improvements. Okay, so that one in tables. I think that one should be on the costs here. So budget by province and then budget by improvements. So I think we can get rid of these now. Remove. And then we need a table. So we need a table, and on this table we need the province. Province name. We can call it province. What else do they want? A budget table that has breakdown of costs per province by improvement type. Cost per province by improvement type. Let me just take a sneak peek at what they created. So this is an example. You have province, population, quantity. These are the improvements, and then budget. Okay. So we have the province like that. We have population. So population is number of people served. Number of people served. Where are you? So on this number of people served, we want the sum. We aggregate its sum. So that's the population. We can call it population. And then quantity is improvement. So where did we calculate those improvements? Improvements, and then count. We're gonna call this quantity. And then the next thing was budgets, if I'm not wrong, budget. So budget, we are using budgeted improvement costs, some like that. So this one in emit budgets. Okay, with this we have the same table like the one they have there. So basically uh, we have population per province, quantity. Quantity is basically the improvements that are supposed to be made per province, and also the budget. So you can see, for instance, a CAPSI here, population is 5 million, quantity, all the things that are supposed to be improved is 4,000, budget is that one. So You can also format this the way you want. Maybe style preset. Maybe you can use minimal like this. Yeah, that looks good. What else can you do? I think that is that. So for grids, grid color, maybe we can have that. Column headers, maybe you can make them bold, and then you can center them. Okay, I think that is enough. But basically, we have that one here. So we have improvements. We have costs per province. So you can see each and every province I can't see, and then the budget like that. So Sokoto, also the budget. Maybe we should have national budget. So we can have a card. We can have a card. Where's the card? So this card here is supposed to. It's supposed to show us the total budget for the entire country. So to get the total budget for the entire country, maybe let's put it here. And then, because I believe we also had something like this. So total budget is supposed to be budgeted improvement costs. And then you want the sum. Yeah, it's sum. You can make it, you can give it a title and call it total budget. Total budget, bold. We can censor that. Okay, let's do away with the decimal points. No, it's still here, I think. Data format, and then yeah, 147 million. I think it's supposed to be currency. So instead of Kenya shillings, let's make it US dollars. And then decimal points, none. Correct. So we also have the total budget there. Maybe let's move this a little bit. Yeah, so we have the total budget. So you can see this one is in tandem with whatever we are getting here. This is 146,737. So basically here we just rounded it off. So that's why it's 147. All right, so we have the budget per province. What else do we need? We also need we have budget per province. I think we can also have budget per uh budget per what is it called? Improvement. So with that also, let's have a small table. So this is supposed to be budget per improvement. So you can have aggregated improvements. I think you can also have aggregated improvements. I mean count, and then you can have budgets. No, come on. And then this one you can call it budget. This one is quantity, QT. And then come on, do faster. This one is improvement, and then you can style it a little bit. Mm. Let's have it minimal. We bolden the column headers and then we center them. This grid we can make it like that, and yeah, I think this is just okay. All right, so we got our tables there. So basically we have improvement per province, and then we also have improvement per um we also have budget per I mean we have budget per province, and then also budget per improvement. At least with this one now looks a bit better. So because of time, I want us to go through visualization per province, and then I think we can finish this. I know today is Monday. People will be going to work tomorrow. So for provincial levels, we have these kind of things. So for instance, this is for Sokoto. So we need to have town names. Okay, first of all, we start with budget allocation, improvements, then uh, towns, and how much each and every town is supposed to, cost per individual. Okay, so I think let's do for one province, and then you'll be able to duplicate for the other provinces, and then I believe from there, yeah, it will be easy. So what I'm going to do, I think, let me duplicate these, and then I'm going to name it Amanzi. And then after that, I'm going to change here to Amanzi. Okay, so after that, what do we need for province? We need budget allocation. Now this is budget allocation per what? Is it per improvement? Rural urban spending. So let's remove this for now. Let's get rid of the map. And then for this total budget, because I believe we need to use budget. Now I want to add a filter because now this is per province. So I'm going to add a filter here, province name. So if you select all, it's supposed to be total for all the provinces. But now, in this case, I'm only dealing with Amanzi. So I'm going to select Amanzi alone. So if I select Amanzi alone, you can see it updates. And then that is the total budget for Amanzi. So let me just remove these. Let's make it one big like this. And then this is the total budget for Amanzi. This is the total budget for Amanzi. What else was I seeing? We have improvements here. So improvements, and then we also have aggregated. So all these ones remain except so what we can do is I remove them. All right. This one is for what we're supposed to install. So again, I'm going to filter on province name. So I'm gonna add province name here, and then I'm gonna select Amanzi. So if you select Amanzi, you can see it changes. So we have that one for Amanzi. So this budget allocation, I don't know if it's okay. Let's remove these ones first and then arrange this thing well. So we have these, we have these. I need to center this value because it's misbehaving. Where can I center it? Yeah, so that's the total budget, like that. Maybe I should increase the font size for the total budget. Yeah. So we have the total budget. Let me just remove these. What do we need here? Aggregated improvement, quantity, and budget. So we also need improvements, quantity, and budget. So you can create a table. Let's get rid of these. You can create a table for aggregated improvements, quantity, which is basically count, and then budget. Then this one you can name it improvements. Quantity, and then this is budget. This is budget. Let's do a quick styling here. I love to use minimal. So we've got minimal. We have these grids here. We also need to specify the province. So province is Amanzi. Yes, you can see the total budget is 13 million. So it means we are good, we are good. So for provinces, basically you'll just be filtering with province name. I think that's the trick here. You incorporate all the other things and then now you just filter by name. Column headers, bold, center. Yeah, like that. What else do we need? We also need town name, population, and all that. So we need towns for each and every province, and then also improvements that are supposed to be done per town, budget per town, and then also we need to know how much each and every person is supposed to contribute per town. So let's create another table. This is going to be the table for towns. So in this case, I want to add the first filter here as province name, Manzi, and then town name. So these are the towns in a Manzi. So towns. What else are you supposed to incorporate here? Population. So number of people served, and then we need to sum. We have to aggregate it. Then we name it population. Population. What else do we need? Improvements. So count of improvement and budget. Count of improvements. So that is aggregated improvements. We want the count, and then budget. So we can call these improvements. Oh God, count of improvements. Improvements, and then the budget. And then we have the budget. Um, let's style it a little bit minimal. Grade here is that, and then column headers, we make them bold, and then we center them. Uh, yeah. Now there's a column we need to calculate here, which is cost per person or cost per citizen. So it means, for instance, in this case, after the Amanzi administration has gotten this money from the national government, they also know what they need to repair here. But then, or if they are themselves to collect money and then do the improvements by themselves, then they need to know how much each and every person is supposed to contribute. Now, to do that, we can simply click here. You click on the three dots, because I just want us to do it on the visualization here. So you click on these three dots here, you see more options. So when you click on that, and then you come to new visual calculation, and then you can do all these running sum, moving average, and all that. We want custom, so we click on custom, and then it will open for us a section where we can write our DAX. So this is cost per person. So this cost per person is going to be, we have the population and then we have the budget. So basically, we need to calculate, to know the cost per person, we need to get the budget. So for instance, this city of Abidjan, we want to know how much each and every person is going to contribute. So we're going to take the budget, which is 691,000, and then we're going to divide by the population. This way we are going to know how much each and every person is supposed to is supposed to contribute. So we want the budget. So budget, and then you divide by population like that, and then you press enter. So you can see cost per person. It has calculated for us cost per person here, and then you can see on the table here also it's updated. Let's go back to our report view, and then you can see cost per person. So for instance, in Abidjan, each and every person is supposed to contribute $1.85. In Amina, each and every person is supposed to contribute 2.8. Asmara, Belo, Dahabu, Pwani, and all that. So you can see the cost per person, the amount that each and every citizen needs to contribute. What other visual do we need on here? So we have rural urban spending, and then we also have budget allocation. So let's start with the rural urban spending. So for rural urban spending, I think let's increase this. There's a lot of space. So rural urban spending, they want a pie chart. So we need to have location type, rural and urban, and then rural urban spending. So that means we need to know how much is going to be used in rural and also in urban. So we use budgeted improvement costs. Let's get rid of these things that are cluttering our beautiful pie charts. And then I saw they had the names here. Yes, for instance, they have okay, this is not quite invisible, but you can see in the names here they have urban, then the amount, rural, also the amount. So I want to include that. Ours just has the values 34.31 million and then the percentage. So in that case, is it, where can I find it? Data format. It's not the location type. Is it properties? Okay, let's check here. Detail label. Yeah. Label contains, we want it to contain the legend, that is category, and also data value. Yes, category and data value like that. So you can see rural and then the amount. What else? Maybe for coloring, you can. No, that is background color. Okay, those are the ones we will do them later. But now we have this one here. We have the amount that is supposed to be used on rural areas and also on urban areas. The last thing here is supposed to do is budget allocation. Okay, let's give this one a title: rural urban spending. Rural urban spending. So it's a rural urban spending. Yeah, now that looks great. Okay, now this is budget allocation. Budget allocation. I think it's budget allocation per improvement. So let's build a donut chart. donor chart, and then budget improvement, then that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's supposed to be 5. And then we want to have a title. This title we gonna do budget allocation. Budget allocation. Let's turn out the legend. And then percentage. So you just want percentage. Yeah. So this is an example of oh, by the way, have I filtered these? I need to filter these on province. So province equals to Amanzi. Yeah. This one also province name equals to Amanzi. Yeah. Amanzi has been weird all through ever since we started this. So I've filtered this one also. This one is filtered. Everything is filtered on Amanzi here. So so you can see I've created the national page. So the president will use this to view. So for example, if she wants to know how much is supposed to allocate to a curtsy, she just clicks on a curtsy and then she's able to see everything. Amanzi the same, you can see it's 13 million and all that. She's also able to know where this thing, these provinces are located on the map. On the other hand, when you come to the next page, the administration, all the leaders of Amanzi are able to use this to know how much they need, what they need to improve more on, and all that. Now, if you want for some other provinces, you can just duplicate on this. You can duplicate on the province. Let's call this Kilimani. Kilimani, and then maybe we can name this Kilimani as well, so that we don't get confused. And then after Kilimani, now you need to filter everything here on Kilimani. So on province name here, we'll filter it with Kilimani. So Kilimani, province name Kilimani, province name Kilimani here. This is Kilimani. Total budget also, we need the budget for Kilimani. Kilimani, this one also Kilimani. Yes, so now you can see this one we filtered on Kilimani alone. So you can see Kilimani needs 9 million. You can see these are the things that need to be improved in Kilimani with the installation of RO filters popping. We can also see the improvements and the amount they cost. And then we can also see the towns in Kilimani versus their budgets, the improvements that are supposed to be made, the populations, and the cost that each and every individual is supposed to contribute. If at all the citizens were to contribute, then these are the
What
costs
of
they're supposed to contribute. So
Sokoto?
I did not include Sokoto because we already had it on the slides. Okay, but you can also do for Sokoto. Basically, I think you can just do for all the provinces and then you can see. But in this case, I did not include Sokoto because we have it on these slides here.
So does it mean the ones we are given the slide for Sokoto is correct? For example, drilling wells looks like it has the highest budget.
in Sokoto.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, and I would prefer if you can just also do it on your own, from your side, and also see, compare the values you have and also the values that they have there.
Okay.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, this is it. Now, if you are to be asked any question on any province and the MCQs, basically you can build pages for each and every province, or you can just use the national one here. So if you're asked a question on Kilimani, maybe you can just do like this. But now, yeah, because this one also just gives you accurate things, I think. So Kilimani, Sokoto, Hawassa, Amanzi, and all that. So you can use either these, but basically we build this so that this one can be presented to the um, president, and then these ones can be presented to provincial heads or leaders. All right. So for the leader of Kilimani will get these, the leader for Amanzi will get the one for Amanzi, and all that. Um, I think with that brings us to the end, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I think that's the end of it. Unless anybody's having any questions.
Yeah. How did you get the towns that have the highest budget? So I think
How
we
did I
were
get
only
the
looking at
towns?
that have highest budget.
So basically, you see, um, I created this is a table, all right? So if it's a table, for example, in this case, this one is for Manzi. So you first of all have to filter province name. Province name, you have to filter by Amanzi. You can see Amanzi is clicked here. Then after that, now on the locations table, select the town name, bring it here. Select population is in the number of people served. It's in the water source table. You also bring it here. Improvements in the aggregated improvements, you bring it here. And then the budget is the budgeted improvement cost like that. And then you calculate the cost per person. To calculate cost per person, you just click on these three dots here and then new visual calculation, custom, and then you'll give it a name, and then you also write the DAX function there.
Yeah, okay, that is fine. And then last now, I wanted to know between the slicer and the bookmark, which one can we use to navigate?
But I forgot to show you guys about the bookmark. But you can use both. You can use you see, a slicer is like it categorizes. You see, it affects all these visuals within this page. This is a slicer here. For bookmark, let's say we wanted to toggle between the view for this table and this one. Let's say we had these two tables overlapping like this. So if they overlap like these, um, you see now it's the improvements table that is visible. So if the improvements table is visible, you can use bookmark and the selections to select which one you want to see. I don't know if we can do it very quickly. So you go to the view here and then we want bookmark. So bookmark appears and also selection. So in the selection here, we want to select the tables we want to see when maybe we click on something. So for
Okay,
example,
where's the email?
somebody is talking.
Tanisha has raised her hand.
Tehinde,
So
Sorry, you did not do the percentage improvements on the national.
what did I not do? Percentage improvement.
Improvement, yes, on the national.
You're talking about these or what?
The last one, there is the last one. There is the last card
The last card here.
from the yes.
Um, okay. I think let me show guys how to do this bookmark thing, and then we can do that very fast. So we want to toggle between these two tables. So this one currently it's this one called here table. So we have table, and then this is the okay. It's so unfortunate I didn't give my tables names. No, that is the total budget. Sorry. And then you also have this other table. Let me call these provinces. And then let me call these improvements. Improvements, right? So currently it's provinces that is visible. You can see. So to hide the tables, you click on the I sign here. So when I click on improvements, now you see it's the provinces table that is visible. And then you come to the bookmark section here, and then you click on add bookmark. And then you give it a name. So maybe you can name this bookmark as show provinces. Show provinces, and then you click on these three dots here, and then updates, right? After that, now let's hide the provinces table, and let's show the improvements table. So this is the improvements table, and then again we add another bookmark. Now when we add another bookmark, we can call this show improvements, and then click on updates. Yeah, update. So now when I click on the provinces, you see the provinces table appear and the improvements table disappears. When I click on the show improvements, now it's the improvements table that is visible. The provinces table is invisible. You can also add a button. I think that will be a long process. You can come to insert and then buttons. You can click, you can add a button and then you configure it with this bookmark so that when you click on a button, for example, for show provinces, then it shows provinces. When it's a button for show improvements, then it shows improvements. But basically, that is how um what is it called? Bookmarks work. So for now, I think I'll just leave them the way they were, like this. Yes. What was I supposed to do again? Oh, this card here. So, you guys remember the way we calculated these, right? From the data pin here. So we calculated basic water access level. It was a measure, right? And if you click on it like that, we have the formula basic water access level percentage. This is what we did. We divided the number of people served where we have basic access by the total population, and then we converted it into percentage. Now, to get the other percentage that Kehinde is talking about, that is um, um, people who do not have access to basic water, what you're going to do, you're just going to change the name of the measure. For example, in this case, we can call it below basic water access level percent. And then where we have basic access, this is going to change to below basic access. All right. because remember it's just the opposite. Okay, it's just the opposite. If we have um if we have access to a percentage of people with access to basic water, to get percentage of people without access to basic water, it's like we're taking 100% less this. So that is why we basically just calculate the opposite of it, right? Yeah. I hope that answers you, Kehinde. Sorry, I can't do it because of time. But basically, that's it. That's how you calculate it. So the formula we use to get this basic water access, you're just going to do the opposite. You're going to change the column name, the name of the measure, and then where you inserted basic access, you're going to change it to below basic access. Because basically what we did is we calculated basic access by coming to this table, and then we are going through row, and then we are picking where we have basic access. We are picking the number of people served, and then we are summing them. We are summing them. After summing all the people who have basic access, we are going to divide it by the sum of everything in this row, right? So to get the other percentage you're talking about, now we are going to take below basic access. We are going to sum the people with below basic access, all of them. After doing the sum, we're going to divide again by the total population, and then you're going to get your percentage. Any other question?
Please.
Somebody's talking.
Please show us your how you partitioned your page, please.
How I partitioned my page. So I think let's just use this new page. So if you come to the page like this, and then up here, you just click on text box. So text box, you click on that, and then you can you can uh you can drag it where you want it to fit. So for instance, the first one was this upper part. And then when you come to format text box here, you can come to format text box, and then effects, and then you can change the background. So you can give it any background you want. In this case, mine was like this. And then now I can type here. So when you just tap here, you can just type. For instance, I can say Majindogo water. Now Majindogo water, and then I can increase the font size here to maybe 20, and then I can bolden it like that. You can do whatever you want with it. You can change the text color like that. So you see, that is how it appears. You just come and click on the text box here, text box, and then you can drag it on whichever part of the page you want, and then you can now type the text.
Yes,
Um,
Kahinde.
Please, where did they get the visual the picture for the water they used?
the MD Water Services, the Excel we are using is from the previous one, the one we did last week. So if you can just go to
No,
the
not the
slide.
Excel. As in, there was a water logo under that beside that margin logo water. Where did they get the logo from?
Oh, the logo,
In
the
the
logo. The logo that was here.
Yes, there was a logo there. Where did they get it from?
Okay, I think I'll have to look where they got it from. I also didn't get it. Okay, I haven't
Okay.
looked for it, but probably I'll probably go and try and find it.
Please, in case you get it, please help us put it on the platform. Thank you.
Okay.
How did you add on a slicer?
Slicer is on the visualizations here. The slicer is this thing that looks like a table but has a funnel, a small funnel. It's actually next to the table. So table, and then on the left side of the table is a slicer.
Thank you.
Okay, it seems there are no more questions. Uh,
Please, when
Yes.
are we getting the video?
I'm going to compile it right now, and then I'm going to try to send it before I go to sleep.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you too.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Lord, for taking us through. I think it's 3 hours in, and we're still here. We are here to do the hard thing. So once Lord shares the